What is going on, everyone? Riddick here. We got some AEW and WWE news today for October 6th, 2022. Let's get right into it, as it's becoming apparent that WWE is making changes for their season premieres of Raw and SmackDown. Those changes are becoming apparent right now, with drastic changes to the commentary team across all shows and a couple other little tidbits. So let's get right into the WWE stuff right now. Jimmy Smith is finished with WWE. All right. So we have a new Raw commentary team, which will be made up of Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves. So no more three-man booth on Raw, which I am all about. I didn't want a three-man booth to begin with. These three-man booths, four-man booths, like they do on AEW and they have done on WWE. I'm just not big on that. There's just too many talking heads there. I just like a good solid two-man booth. That's all you need. So, like I said, on Raw, it's going to be Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves. I'm not really big on Kevin Patrick. I mean, I guess he's all right, but it'll be the Corey Graves show as far as I'm concerned. So, and that's fine with me. I love Corey Graves. And then we have on SmackDown, it will be Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. So Wade Barrett's coming up from NXT and getting placed on SmackDown. A lot of people are going to say, what happens to Pat McAfee? I think Pat McAfee still comes back when he's done with his football gig. I still think he comes back. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. And I'm completely fine with Wade Barrett. And speaking of NXT, NXT's team will be Vic Joseph and Booker T. Vic Joseph, I don't know. That guy, I can't remember his name, but the one they had on commentary this week for NXT filling in for Vic Joseph, I actually really liked him. He kind of gave me Tom Phillips vibes a little bit, and maybe not quite, but it was in that same kind of style, which I'm cool with. I liked it better than Vic Joseph, but whatever. I mean, that's what we're getting on NXT now. It's Vic Joseph and Booker T. Booker T could be a good addition to this commentary team in NXT because that's another veteran head down there to maybe help that young talent out, and that could be beneficial in the grand scheme of things more so than just the commentary table. So keep that in mind. And one last thing is, as far as like backstage interviewers go, Kathy Kelly is back. If you loved Kathy Kelly and you missed her, well, guess what? She's back. And Byron Saxon will also be utilized as a backstage interviewer now as well. I don't know what that means for Sarah Schreiber. Maybe she's still there. I guess she would be, right? But from what we know right now, Kathy Kelly is back, will work as an interviewer, as well as Byron Saxton. So we'll see. They didn't say anything about Sarah being let go or anything like that, so she should still be there. And that pretty much sums up the WWE news portion so far. We may see like set changes and stuff on these season premieres. I have no idea. Hopefully we get new sets, we get new music, and maybe Triple H will bring in that, heavy metal vibe he had in NXT. Maybe he's going to bring that to the main roster. I would love that. I would love that. But you never know. I mean, it's more mainstream. You got to appeal to the mainstream, which, it's fine. So we'll see what he does, but we'll find out tomorrow for SmackDown's premiere anyway. So yeah, changes are already being made for these season premieres, and they will go into effect tomorrow night on SmackDown. Now, moving on to the AEW stuff. The Clown Show. The Clown Show. Sammy Guevara and Andrade. As most have already seen, they are at odds with each other. They have heat with each other. They kind of let it go on Twitter. And these two show up at the arena. Now, first reporting says that they just showed up and nobody tried to get involved and they just were free to go at each other, and they got into a big fight, which they still did get into a big fight, but that's neither here nor there because now there's an update on this whole situation. And I don't care what the hell's in this update. Sammy should also have been suspended. And I'll explain why here in a second. So let's go over the updated version of this per Fightful Select and see where we're at. They say many accounts we've heard indicate that Andrade arrived and had waited to see Sammy and threw a couple punches before it was broken up. Both men had been spoken to and warned about not fighting and had assured management they wouldn't be fighting. Several talent even said they had expected it to be squashed as opposed to the fight. Now, a few of the accounts claim that Guevara also shoved Andrade, though that's how the initial information filtered in. That side was more in line with what Andrade's side of things were claiming. Since then, more information has emerged. So they're saying that most of the accounts they've heard from have indicated that Andrade was the aggressor and Guevara made attempts to not participate in the fight. He still participated in the fight, and it was allowed to go to that extreme. I don't care if they, well, I'm going to give you a warning if you do it again. It still was allowed to go to that extreme. They shouldn't even have been allowed near each other, let alone anything else. It should have just never even come to that. Okay? As we've seen, this is a problem. Okay? Sammy has been entwined in some incidents now on multiple occasions. And that's why I say, I don't care if he instigated it or not, he's still engaged in the problem, and clearly was engaging in the problem on social media too. So he too should be suspended. I mean, look, he had the thing with Eddie Kingston, right? And that whole thing, and now we're dealing with this whole Andrade thing, and there's been other things talked about, right? That Sammy somehow finds his way into, the common denominator being Sammy Guevara. I don't care what anybody says. That's saying something right there. Okay? I highly doubt the whole locker room's out to get Sammy. So there's something going on there, and there's a reason why he's always intertwined in this somewhere, right? So Andrade gets himself suspended. Andrade, they say that there's theories out there that he's trying to get himself fired because he wants to go back to WWE. And honestly, who can blame him? The way Vince treated him on the way out of WWE is pretty much how he's being treated by Tony Khan right now. Knowing that, Andrade's a Triple H guy and Triple H is in charge now, I don't think he would have nearly as bad of a time under Triple H as he does right now with Tony Khan. Or even Vince McMahon when he was still there. So, and then of course his wife works at WWE, which always is a factor you got to bring into it. So there's all these little factors that play into why he would want to go back. It's kind of the same as why Aleister Black would want to go back. But Tony's saying he's not letting anybody go. He's not, letting anybody out of their contracts. He's not doing any releases. And what's funny to me is all the people out there sat here and they bitched and moaned about Vince McMahon hogging up all the talent and then not letting them go and keeping them hostage, basically. They don't ever really get TV time, and they're just always sitting in catering. They get thrown out there once in a while. Well, that's funny, because those same people that bitched and whined about that are saying that Tony Khan shouldn't release people. He should be holding... Really? Really? So your beloved Tony Khan is now doing... He's pulling a Vince. He's being exactly like Vince, bringing in all this talent, hogging it up and holding them hostage, not letting them go, not putting them on TV most of the time, sporadically putting them on there because he has too much talent for the little amount of TV time he has. And now we're going to defend him for locking down talent. When Vince did it, we're all, oh my God. Okay, whatever, guys. That's ridiculous. It should be the same, you should have that same level of energy for both sides when that's going on. So, in my opinion, though, neither here nor there. They should be let go. Those who do not want to be there, you should find a way to let them go. I understand it's under contract and everything else, but you got to find that way out, because why would you want to keep anyone that's going to give you less than 100%? If they're not happy and they're frustrated, I assure you they're not going to give you 100% because they're frustrated and unhappy. And then when they do get an opportunity and go out there, who knows what they're going to do? We've already seen in AEW people going into business for themselves and everything else, and the train wreck that is the locker room back there, a children's facility. CM Punk was saying that he's working with children, which, hey man, it sounds like he was right. Unfortunately for him, he is one of the children, so, he fit right into the situation. But that's neither here nor there. That situation is out the door, and it's still being investigated, whatever that's supposed to mean. But we got problems here, man. We got problems here. Andrade getting suspended and Sammy not getting suspended is a problem. And that's going to look like a problem to the rest of the talent in the back that knows damn well he instigated the shit just as much as Andrade did. Okay? Number one is no authority. No authority. Not to the level it needs to be. Man, you got key players back there. You got Arn and you got Jericho and William Regal and you got some other key players back there that can get involved in stuff, right? But at the end of the day, the whole thing, it starts at the top. Tony Khan is a fan of wrestling. And it shows because he's being friends with everybody. That's cool, man. You want to be nice and cool with everybody. That's cool. But you got to be a boss. I know we're throwing out suspensions and this and that. And everybody's like, oh, look, he suspended them. But you're also playing favorites at the same time. And you're also letting these things get to a point of where people need to be suspended instead of trying to squash it before it even gets to that point. We're allowing these things to just run amok, and then you're suspending people. That's just not a good look. It's not a good look. You're sat up there in the media scrum next to somebody that's completely taking a shit all over the damn roster and the company, and you're just sat there like a deer in headlights, not doing anything. And when you did try to do something, you let him cut you off and act like he was running the company, which that should definitely not be the case. That tells you right there, the inmates are running the asylum. I don't know, but it's just ridiculous with this nonsense. It's like every week there's some other ridiculous story coming out about somebody getting into a backstage altercation or a fight or this and that. I couldn't even imagine anything like this happening in WWE, and if it did happen, it would be squashed immediately. People would be suspended, and that would be it, man. It would be boom, boom, done. Knock it off, Not this letting it all build up and then overflowing and then after it overflows, let's suspend people and whatever. This is the problem. Here's the list of problems. Ready? You have number one, which is no authority at the top. No authority at the top. You have a bloated roster that's way too full for the hours of television that they have. So you have people that are frustrated. They want to get on TV. And the fact that there's just such a big roster, the egos and stuff are just, running wild, builds frustration. And then you have the next thing, which is these wrestlers getting full creative control over everything they do. They should have some creative control, but they should have structured creative control. Some guys you can have and give free creative control, absolutely full creative control to, but you're going to have to start tying up the loose ends here, and I think maybe we need to start thinking about real teams being in place to write actual television shows here. Structured television shows. Yes, there will be scripts, but I'm not saying to fully script everybody. If they're capable, okay, let them go out there and do their thing. But giving everybody this full control over their character, this full creative control, the egos are going through the roof, okay? And they're dictating how they want everything to be. I get it. That's fine. But we need to seriously think about maybe a team that writes structured television and we base everything around that. And then, yes, give them some creative control. But I think we need to cut back on the just letting them free wheel out there. Like I said, we've already seen people going into business for themselves and everything else that's gone on around here. But I think the creative control needs to be tightened up and more structured. Okay. Once again, don't take, if you can give them full creative control and they know and respect the honor of doing such, then that's fine. But there's a lot of young guys and girls in this company, and they need more than just, hey, you can go do whatever you want, or, hey, that's a great idea, go do it, you know. Because when they have full creative control, the egos go way up, right? And then you have the bloated roster. They're not getting on TV very much. And then you have no authority at the top. The problem starts at the top. The only problem is there is no top, so that's the problem. And then you want people, and then by the time we get to that, and then after all that happens, now we want people that want out of there because of all these problems. They want out. They're tired of it. They don't want to put up with it. They're frustrated. They don't want to be there. They're not going to give you 100% if they're frustrated and don't want to be there. And if they do, they're going to go out there, and who knows what they're going to do when they're frustrated. Will they remain professional? Maybe. At this point, it doesn't look like a whole lot of people are remaining professional in the locker room of AEW when you have all this crap going on a weekly basis. It's a mess over there. They need to figure it out. And, you know, when two people are involved in this, they should both be suspended. I don't care who started it, okay? I don't care. It's such high school drama BS with this company. And now you have Sammy going out there and winning matches, and I don't know. It doesn't look good. It does not look good whatsoever. Andrade wants out. Let him go. Let him go. If Aleister Black wanted out, you should have let him go. Should have let him go. Because all that's going to happen is they're going to continue to be frustrated. You're going to keep bringing in more people, put them on TV for 2 weeks, and then they're forgotten about after that. And you know that's what's going to happen. They bring in the next new guy, feature him for a couple weeks. Oh, yeah, great. And then you don't see him ever again. So, I don't know. It's ridiculous. They need to figure that out. But as far as I'm concerned, Sammy should have been suspended with Andrade. I don't give a flying fuck who started it, okay? There should be more examples set. You know, well, he didn't start it, so we're going to let him go do his thing. No, that doesn't work, man. It doesn't work. You got to set an example across the board. You got to get this shit under control. I want the company to do well. And then when you're seeing things start to do well, and yet at the same time it's all falling apart behind the scenes, it's not going to be good, man, at the end of the day. It's not going to end well. So, I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's all I got for you today, folks. If you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing, hit the like button, and share. And I would appreciate it. Until next time, I will catch you all down the road.